everybody, I'm back, and man, am I super excited to talk about this. But before we get started, please understand I am not attacking VivziePop in any way. This is mostly for fun. These are all just my opinions, and nothing I say should be taken to heart. Okay? Okay, so we're going to start with Alastor because it's no surprise he's my favorite. I've always loved this character ever since he was first shown in VivziePop's original comic, Zoophobia. But anyway, I didn't stick with VivziePop for very long back then, and didn't really come back to her till the first trailer of Harbin Hotel was released. But yeah, to say I was hooked is an understatement because, all the characters I remembered had come back and were all upgraded. Except Alastor, he still looked like his old design, just without the black. But his design grew on me after the pilot. Though, after all the live streams and Q&As, I found a few issues with his design. It wasn't anything super big at the time, and I always figured since this was a pilot design, a lot of the issues would be fixed once the show was picked up. But boy, was I wrong! When it was finally announced that Alastor's new canon design was coming, I was extremely excited, way more than I'd ever been for anything. And when it finally happened, I was happy, but it was more of an adrenaline happy than genuine happiness, because after the high wore off, I knew this design was just not it. I mean, look at it. What the hell happened? Now I get it, on first look he looks the exact same, but no, he doesn't. And here's a side-by-side. Also, thank you to my buddy Cosmic, who made this. But now you can see all the tiny details that kinda ruin Alastor's whole design. Like, for one, he's no longer red-toned, he's more pink-toned. And yeah, I get that it could be the lighting in this image, but his hair shouldn't be that pink if it was just the light, And normally, red light on top of red hair doesn't change the color too much because they are from the same tonal family. So the fact that his hair is this pink, this isn't right. Also, his horns are still too small. It's not a super big issue, but because of his ears, it's kind of hard to see them. His eye color palette in general is just, it blends together too much. Even more so now, since there's no black outline around the eyes anymore. This is the one that has always really bothered me. Alastor's shirt collar doesn't match his shirt. And I know it's not a part of his jacket, because that's just not something that would be a thing in the 1930s. And then there's Alastor's jacket. Okay, the old design was fine. I get why they took some of the pinstripes off. I do. But this new design really bothers me because now his jacket sleeves are a different color from the rest of his jacket. What the heck? Why did they do that? Any fashion designer will tell you you don't do that to pinstripe suits. Those things are expensive. Not to mention, they're usually tailor-made. And for a guy like Alastor that still prefers his generation style, I truly believe he wouldn't wear this mess of a jacket. Which leads me to his lapel. Adding white to his character is like making Pinkie Pie's hair black. It's off-putting and really not necessary. Alastor's main color palette is red, reddish brown, and his only off color is yellow, which is his teeth color, which really works for this character's design, because it's such a surprise when he smiles or talks, you immediately look right at him as soon as he opens his mouth. But now with this white, my eyes keep going down to his chest, which that's not where you're supposed to be going. But now with this added fourth color, white is the brightest color because it's literally light. And it eats other colors, so no matter what lighting Alastor is going to be in, it's going to be the brightest color in every scene. It's going to be the first thing you look at. And not only that, they did the same thing with the yellow by putting it in one spot. Plus now it's even busier, that whole area is just busier now than before. There's just so much in that one spot. Plus, with all we know about them due to all the live streams and Q&As, I don't see the character info as these designs. And I want to be very clear, I still love Harbin Hotel. I still plan on being a part of the fandom and making fan art for when the show is released. But as a character designer, I'm a bit disappointed in some of the crew's decisions. I want to be clear, I'm not bashing anybody, okay? These are just my tips, my tricks, my helpful way of helping out, I guess. But anyway, let's get on to the redesign.
Stay tuned, folks.
Okay, so when redesigning Alastor, I did reuse some of my first attempt's design, and as you can see here, I went a bit overboard. But this was around the time the pilot had reached being a year old, so a lot of my choices were based on what I knew at the time, what I personally liked. So yeah, this didn't age the best, but I still kept certain parts I felt were important, like Alastor's skin tone for one. Alastor is Creole, which just means he's mixed, and the fact that he was born and raised in Louisiana in the 1900s, it's kind of very likely he's a mixed child of a black parent. It just, for the time period, it makes sense. But also, I myself am mixed, and though I'm not super dark, I'm still the darkest out of my mom's side. And yes, I'm aware people of color come in many shades. I just would have liked Alastor to be a bit darker. I don't want to go into further detail, but that I just wish she was a bit darker, that's it. Anyway, I also kept Alastor's deer features. I just toned them down a bit. I got a lot of people telling me that he looked too nice or too young in my first attempt. So I reworked his ears to be a bit more Vivzy-Pop style, but more obvious that they're deer ears, and also made his horns bigger. I made my first set too big, and the shape is a little off, so for this I kept the original shape but bulked it up more, and made Alastor's nose shadow, like in his original design there's like a little shadow under his nose, darker to give the illusion of a deer nose. As for Alastor's makeup, yeah, I'm calling it makeup. You can't convince me otherwise. Anyway, all I really did was darken it just to, break up some of the color, because again, the tones of red that are Alastor's eye color and makeup color are just too close together. There needs to be a good separation in tone and color. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, yeah, I gave his eyelids highlights. I really like the look, and they even used it in the pilot, so I decided to keep it. As for his eye color, I kept the idea of making them yellow. They just pop so much more now, and don't blend in anymore, like his pinkish red did. And his hair. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people love his emo Karen cut, but it's just not a style that would have existed in the 1900s. And with what Vivzy-Pop has told us, Alastor loves his era and doesn't want to change with the times, so yeah, I went with a more accurate cut. It's not really that different from all the human fan art of him, so win-win on that. Here is where stuff gets kind of tricky. So for Alastor's jacket, I kept everything pretty much the exact same. Except I made the shoulder pads a little lower, because these high to the sky shoulder pads have always been a little too big for my taste. Most shoulder padded jackets for men weren't so extreme, but this is Viv's style, so it's not really that big a deal. But I did add a fun detail to his top shoulder, just a simple stitch that matches his musical number outfit, because I doubt we'll ever see it again. I also mixed Alastor's old lapel with my older version together, since every character so far has the same lapel style. I thought I'd make Alastor a little bit different than everybody else, so I also got rid of the white because it's not needed, and added yellow to his cuffs instead. I also gave him a undervest, no real reason behind it, I just like it. And yeah, I made his shirt collar the same color as his shirt, and replaced his bow tie with a tie. Again, Vivzy-Pop has a lot of stuff she really likes drawing, but it's becoming repetitive to a fault. Not all your characters should share the same designs unless it's a major part of your story. Like, it's good to have characters match sometimes, but not all the time. Anyway, the last part of the redesign are color choices. I mostly stuck with Alastor's original colors. I just wanted it to be more blood red than strawberry red, if that makes sense. I know he's commented as being a strawberry pimp, but for a character that's a cannibal, I would imagine his outfits would be a bit more blood red than anything. And I also made his shoes more deer-like. I know he has the deer prints on the bottom of his soles, but, that's just a hidden detail. I like hidden details to a fault, but I would prefer if we could see more deer features, And also, one design that I just couldn't give up on was the ribs. I've always looked at Alastor as a skinwalker. I know a lot of people assume he's a Wendigo, but with Alastor practicing voodoo, skinwalker seems like a better fit to describe him. Plus, it adds to the whole cannibal style that he's got going on, you know. It's one of those where it's like an obvious little nod, if that makes sense for you guys. Also, I did edit his staff a bit. It was too plain for my taste, so yeah, I added like a deer horn print, nothing super detailed, just a simple design to make it feel less flat. And yeah, I gave him a tail. Everyone kept asking for one, so who am I to say no? Anyway, I hope everyone really enjoyed my redesign. I'm not too upset with what I've created. I feel like I've managed to get all my ideas together this time, and you know, I'm happy with my final work. I think this design I'm very pleased with. But anyway, for my next redesign video, I will be redesigning Angel Dust. And at the time of recording this, VivziePop has released the date of when Vaggy's redesign will be uploaded. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. I mean, I'm not excited for what VivziePop has created. I'm more excited to actually get started on redesigning Vaggy because she is secretly my favorite design. I will get into it when we get started on her. But but anyway, I can't wait for you guys to see Angel Dust. I really think I knocked it out of the park with his design. But anyway, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to support me in any way, I have a Ko-fi account, link in the description. And I hope everyone has a super awesome day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!